Deep in the heart of London in 1671 lay a secret so bold it would leave the whole world stunned. Thomas Blood, a desperate adventurer driven to the edge by life, had his eyes fixed on the greatest prize within the Tower of London. What he set out to steal was none other than St. Edward's crown, the very symbol of England's supreme authority. Tonight, by the soft glow of firelight, let us watch how this absurd yet utterly true legend reached its astonishing end. What usually becomes of a man who dares to steal the king's crown? Thomas Blood gave history an answer no one saw coming. He became the king's friend. Under the tightest security imaginable, he pulled off an astonishing heist through clever disguise and extraordinary nerve. Close your eyes, and in this quiet narration, watch how he danced unscathed at the very center of power's storm. Was he a conman misunderstood, or a hero toyed with by fate? Thomas Blood's life burned with the fire of adventure and the bitter absurdity of fortune. From his daring raid on the Tower of London to his witty survival before Charles II, every step walked the line between life and death. Let this unforgettable tale of legend carry you through this peaceful bedtime hour. Picture a cool May morning in 1671, inside the Jewel House deep within the Tower of London. A middle-aged man in a clergyman's robe, solemn and composed, bends to tuck the heavy St. Edward's crown beneath his wide cloak. He even flattens it with a mallet, just to make the national treasure fit more easily against his body. This man was Thomas Blood, history's most audacious crown thief. Tonight, by the softly flickering fire, let us enter his real life through a story you do not have to struggle to remember. We will see not a cold criminal, but an adventurer tossed endlessly between despair and hope. How did he not only keep his head after being caught, but actually win the king's mercy and reward? Close your eyes, slow your breathing, and uncover the strange logic of fate behind this absurd episode. The story begins not in some dark secret passage, but with a carefully arranged chance meeting. Thomas Blood knew brute force would never get him close to the crown in the Tower of London. Disguising himself as a gentle country parson, he visited the tower alongside a convincing actress playing his wife. He befriended the elderly Talbot Edwards, the keeper of the crown jewels, and soon became like family. For weeks, Blood patiently nurtured the relationship, showing constant kindness, even offering to introduce his fictional nephew to Edward's daughter. To the old guard, Mr. Blood was a perfect gentleman sent by God, and he let his guard down completely. That was Blood's genius. He never rushed, but wove a web of trust slowly, gently tightening each thread. Using the softest human emotion of trust, he unlocked the door to the very symbol of England's highest power. To Blood, the Tower of London was no longer a fortress, but a vault waiting to be opened. Beneath his kindly smile lay an ambition so bold it could shake all London. On an otherwise ordinary morning, Blood returned to the Jewel House with 3 men he called his relatives. They claimed they wanted to view the glittering royal jewels while waiting for Mrs. Edwards. When the unsuspecting old Edwards turned to unlock the chains, the kindly priest vanished in an instant. They did not kill the guard, but knocked him unconscious with a club and held a blade to his throat to silence him. Blood lifted the crown himself. It was heavier than he imagined, heavy with the weight of centuries of monarchy. To make it easier to carry, he pulled out a specially made mallet and struck hard at the cross on top. In that moment, the sound of cracking gold echoed through the empty chamber, a shocking mix of sacrilege and dark drama. His accomplices hacked at the royal scepter, while Blood forced the flattened crown under his clerical robes. They were moments from escape when Edward's son, unexpectedly home on leave, walked in and discovered them. The old guard struggled to his feet and screamed, "They've stolen the crown. Help! Murder!" Blood knew in that second that death stood only a few steps away. Blood sprinted through the streets beside the River Thames, his clerical robes flapping wildly, the heavy crown bouncing against his chest. He knocked over several early morning passers-by, but did not stop to apologize. Escape was all that mattered. Guards shouted, "Stop thief," behind him, rousing sleeping London. In a narrow alley, Blood was thrown into the mud, the crown slipping from his grasp and rolling into the gutter. Unlike most thieves, he did not beg for mercy. Instead he laughed, telling his captors, was it not a brave attempt? He was locked in a pitch-black cell, facing certain death, for stealing the crown was treason in the eyes of the law. Yet he refused to speak to any judge. He made only one wild, unthinkable demand. He insisted on seeing King Charles II of England, claiming only the king himself was fit to judge him. This unprecedented arrogance piqued Charles II's curiosity. Known as the Merry Monarch, he could not abide boredom. Charles decided to give the bold thief a hearing, just to see the man who had dared to flatten his crown. In the interrogation room at Whitehall Palace, Blood stood before Charles II, filthy but eyes blazing with spirit. The king asked, amused, "Do you not fear the block? Why would you steal my crown?" Blood stood tall and spoke in his stirring Irish tone, recounting a life of hardship and reckless adventure. He admitted he had been a soldier under Cromwell, lost everything, and been forced to gamble for survival. He even joked that the jewels were worth far less than the crushing weight of the crown itself. Charles II was utterly charmed by the man's wit and courage, seeing in him a kind of old chivalry long vanished from his court. Perhaps the king had grown tired of yes-men, or perhaps he simply found the whole affair too entertaining to punish. What moved the king most was Blood's declaration, "I did this so my name might live in history." Charles II stunned the court by pardoning Blood completely, granting him land in Ireland and a yearly pension of £500. London reeled. The man who should have been beheaded had become the king's intimate companion. This absurd gamble ended in total victory for Blood. He had risked his life and won immortality. Thomas Blood's life drew quietly to a close in the sunshine of Ireland. No longer the sneaking parson of the Tower, he became an elderly gentleman who occasionally told his daring tale in taverns. To answer the question from the start, why was he pardoned? Perhaps Charles II saw the hollow vanity of kingship, or perhaps courage, in this world, is a rare currency all its own. With his flattened crown, Blood showed that fate does not always punish the bold, so long as you are unforgettable. Now the noise of the story has faded. The night wind over the Tower no longer stings, and the crown has long been restored. May the vibrant adventure of Thomas Blood bring you unyielding dreams. In this silent night, may you too face life's storms with a fearless smile. Good night, and sweet dreams.